All right, here's thoracic region, T1 to T12. It's in the chest region. This is where your rib cage is, but there's no rib shown here. So you can see how they're numbered. We usually call the middle four typical. So T5 to T8 in this region are typical. And I give you a front view, a top view and a side view, a superior view and a lateral view of an individual typical vertebra, there and there. And I think the characteristics that can allow you to tell this is from the region. The typical vertebra from the thoracic region have a very round, circular vertebral foramen. And also, the bodies, the vertebral bodies, are described as heart-shaped, like a Valentine's heart, like that. Heart-shaped. Vertebral body. And one of the first things I look for is the slender spinous process. It seems to point down. They kind of point inferiorly. Spinous processes point inferiorly. Does it look like a giraffe? That's kind of the analogy that's given. That looks like a giraffe. All right, so here's some pictures you can study. Superior view, labels on, labels off. There's the side view, labels on, labels off. And I know there's a lot of structures there. And always remember that I only test for my study list. So this is the list that I hold you accountable for. And the vertebral column is just the first page, but of course there's other pages for the rest of this unit. But today is the vertebral column, which is only the first page of the study guide. We'll just call it a lab list. All right, since we're talking about the thoracic region, now we have to teach the rib cage shown on our skeletons and shown in this picture. So in the thoracic region, the vertebrae articulate with ribs. So if you have 12 thoracic vertebrae, can you guess how many pairs of ribs you have? 12. Articulate with 12 pairs of ribs. So rib 1 articulates with T1, so forth and so on. So what you see here are the different ribs. We're going to define true and false. What's meant by that? True and false ribs, basically true and false. Ribs 1 to 7 are true ribs. Now, all the ribs articulate posteriorly with the thoracic vertebra. Okay, you can see the rib cage from behind. Oh geez, bones are falling off. We can put them back on. But they curve anteriorly and will articulate to the sternum via these costal cartilages. So where it's brown on here, that's not bone, that's cartilage. And they're called the costal cartilages because costal means rib. Okay. They're called true ribs because each rib has its own costal cartilage attachment to the sternum, your breastplate. Each has its own costal cartilage attachment. Notice rib 1 articulates with the manubrium via its costal cartilage. Rib 2 articulates at this angle called the sternal angle. It's between the manubrium and the body of the sternum. Let me kind of illustrate that on the board. So your sternum has this big necktie knot looking thing. Looks like a knife, kind of. Well, anyways, that top part is the manubrium of the sternum. And you can feel that top notch right there on your top of your rib cage. That's the manubrium, that little divot. And this angle between the manubrium and the body of the sternum is called the sternal angle. Your heart is right behind there. Well, basically, when you breathe and your chest expands, the sternal angle, the body kind of like comes out a little bit, so your chest can expand from front to back. When you take a breath in and everything expands. So that sternal angle is a joint that moves. Well, anyways, rib 1 articulates the manubrium via its costal cartilage. Via its costal cartilage. Okay, that articulates with manubrium. Rib 2 will articulate at the sternal angle via its costal cartilage. Sternal angle. And the rest will articulate with the body. Okay, and I won't even write that, you can see it in the picture, but these first two articulate at those different locations. All right, ribs, the rest of the ribs are your false ribs. It says that right there. Ribs 8 to 12, false ribs. Look at ribs 8 through 10. Here's 8, 9, and 10. They share a common costal cartilage. So ribs 8 through 10 share a common costal cartilage. This cartilage is hyaline cartilage, by the way. And costal always means rib. Ribs 11 and 12 are your floating ribs. They have no sternal attachment. 11 and 12, floating ribs. They have no sternal attachment. Okay, I'm gonna give you some lap time today. I'll cut it short there. We'll pick it up here next time. I should be able to finish this